All right. Good evening, gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are having an amazing week. We're halfway through, and it's that time again, just to come and hang out and be stretched and sharpen one another, because this is a mastermind for men, and we're coming live every Wednesday just to enjoy each other's company and to learn and to discover something new about ourselves, because there's the objective of growth. Because when we set ourselves out to go on a journey of growth, then there are certain things that we have to do, and consistency is one of those things. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to consistently come on here and hang out and see how we can learn, how we can improve, and how we can challenge one another in all the different areas of life. And the amazing thing about this platform is, like, we have different way of thinking. We have a different way of Everyone has a different way of thinking. Everyone has different experiences. Everyone has different gifts, different talents, um, and we all bring something to the table. And so this evening, I believe we're going to have a very productive conversation as we continue on the topic of relationships, because I do believe that relationships is key to our success. Relationships is one of those pillars that we cannot ignore. We cannot kind of like just say, I'm an island. I exist by myself, and I can keep on going without being connected to anybody, without needing anybody's help. Um, Hopefully, that's not your attitude. Hopefully, that's not my attitude, because I know, man, um, I won't be where I am today if it's not for my wife, for my kids, if it's not for friends that has continued to add value to my life. And we can't be an island. We have to continue to stay connected. We have to continue to build together. That's where we are. Let me just make sure that we are live. Um, so I am excited about this evening. Uh, let's see who's going to jump on to join the conversation, and just kind of like just to look at, as I said, we spoke about um, our ability to develop greater relationships over the past couple of weeks. Last week, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. My goodness, but the guys do an amazing job. They just, man, I was feeling like, shall I must maybe not come back again this week. But the guys did awesome, 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 awesome stuff. And uh, just continue, and they just continued in the same conversation, talking about the importance of us developing and creating uh, useful relationships and continue to grow in that area. And just kind of like just to highlight a couple of things that we touched on um, over the past couple of weeks is, uh, and the main one that we looked at is why we fail to understand people. And I think the main reason why, or one of the reasons why we relationships kind of like crumble. It doesn't matter which relationship it is. It can be because of the fear factor. Um, you and I, if you and I give others the benefit of the doubt, and replace fear with understanding, um, we everyone can work towards something more positive. But if the relationship is fear based, it will be very hard. It will be very hard. We also touch on self centeredness. If it's all about me, myself, and I, then we have a problem, because one of the reasons why many relationships come crumbling down is because it's just been one-sided. It's only one party has been benefiting from a specific relationship. So this is so that was one of the points we touched on. Um, I got my brother coming on here, Mr. Chido. Let me just add him quickly. Give me a second. Hey, my bro.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good,
Good,
good
good, good.
evening.
Where's everyone?
I think everybody is still in holiday mood. It's holidays. They still maybe I don't know. They still on a bank holiday mood. I'm not sure. Maybe the
Uh,
guys are. Maybe it's been
yeah,
been a busy one. Been a busy. But we'll
we'll
see.
get to that stage. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see who's able to will be able to jump on.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, thank you so much for you guys taking care of last week's session. You guys, as always, an amazing job, sir. Thank you for stepping up. And
No, it was a pleasure. It was
yeah,
a
I was thinking, shall I drop another message and say, guys, I'm not around again this week. No, you did amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Much appreciated. How's the family? Everybody okay?
everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine. We are getting back into the mood of running around.
Yeah, yeah.
The school thing,
That's that's
which
right.
is always not very easy, but you know what? It's got to
Yeah,
be done.
yeah. We gotta do what we gotta do, sir. That's it, man.
Yeah,
That's it. And just when you get into that routine, then it's holiday again.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. How is your family?
Yeah, we all good. We all good. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Fantastic.
We all good. Yeah, I was just doing a quick recap on what we kind of like covered over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I was mentioning was failure to appreciate, sorry, no, self, when we are being self-centered. That's one of the points that we've touched on. And the other one was a failure to acknowledge similarities. So, because sometimes we highlight and we focus on differences, and that kind of like puts stress on the relationship. And but rather ask, okay, what do we have in common? What do we have that we can work with? Hey, Mr. Rabi, good evening, sir. Good to have you. Thank you so much for jumping on. It's always good to have you on the sideline there, just supporting and cheering us on. So much appreciated. Trust
Yeah.
everything is well with the family, my friend. Um, so I am not gonna go through all of this because we've got the recorded session. So if
Yeah.
you think you need a recap, just go and watch the session, okay? All right. So
Don't be
let's see.
lazy.
Sorry.
I say don't be lazy. Go and watch the
Yeah,
rest of
go and watch the session. That will be the best way to recap and to kind of like refresh. Uh,
memories.
yeah, to get it fresh right there from either our YouTube channel or from the page. All right. So, sir, if that's okay with you, what I'm going to do today, I want us to continue in the same kind of line, talking about relationships. Um, and we just see how we can continue to squeeze this, because I'm really convinced that this is. I know a few weeks ago you were talking about some pillars that's needed for us. Remind me again. There was the pillars of um,
Of progress.
that's right, of progress, and I believe when it comes to success, we cannot ignore the area of relationships. Relationships is key because just think about it. We will not be able to go far without being connected uh, to the right people and knowing how to to relate to people. And because I think one of the most complex area that all of us have to uh, continue to perfect or work on is relationships. It's complex because people are people are complex. They can be, and rightfully so, because your mind, today your mind is there so you can, because you can change it anytime. People have emotions, mood swings, whatever the case might be, the insecurities, and being able to know how to handle that and how to deal with that, so that you don't, it's like, oh, whatever, you go your way, I go my way, who cares?
Mhm.
Instead of taking the easy route, but learn how to effectively manage relationships, so that because it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes time, it takes finances, it takes a lot to build the
Yeah,
relationships.
absolutely.
um, and that's why I think we need to become more savvy in knowing how to deal with them. Now, talking about relationships, because we are building a life, we are building towards success, we are building towards or walking towards a progress. Now, the question that or how shall I put it? The way we can look at this is, I want us to look at the building blocks. Let me just put it simple. The building blocks of relationships, because if we are building, we need to ask ourselves, all right, so what are the tools? If I'm working or I'm building relationships with different people around me, so what are the different things that are available to me, for me to be able uh, to do that? um, so I'm going to endeavor this evening just to highlight a couple of things that we can identify them as some building blocks, or some tools that we can use, or some strategies, or how to go about getting better in our relationships. All right. Um, Now, I like this quote by this guy called uh, he's called John H. Spalding. He says, "Those who believe in our ability to do more than hold on one second. My computer is, why is it playing up? One second. Oh no.
That's why paper is always the best.
Oh, I
Paper.
know. I know. Yeah, I just print it out and that's it. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Paper, paper.
All right, there we
Yeah.
go. He said, those who believe in our abilities do more than just stimulate us. They create for us an atmosphere in which it becomes easier to succeed. So, which means that's a very powerful statement, because it's not just about okay, let me put it like this: believing in somebody is the first building block that I would like to highlight, because most people don't have the faith in themselves. Yeah. Believing in people before they have proved themselves is the key to motivating people to reach their potential. So I think, just think about it. Part of the reason why we are where we are is because somebody has believed in my potential. Somebody has believed in your potential and has given us an opportunity to walk through the door. All right, give Kendrick a chance. I know right now it doesn't look like he is all that, um, but let me continue to believe in him, and let's see if he can, what he can do with that opportunity. Um, Now, that in itself, sometimes I think, depending on where you and I are, when if our insecurity is at the level where even if somebody else believes in us, we still hold back, we still don't take the courage to step out, because remember, in general, now we are talking about uh, getting to a place where we can be successful. Remember, in our very first session, we're talking about you and I have to be the place where we can define what success looks like to you and I as an individual, because the way you will perceive success is different from the way that I will perceive it. Uh, but when we're talking about um, this specific building block, which is being at a place where you can believing in people more before they show any sign of success. Now, just a question, uh, that I don't know whether you have, if you can maybe just chip in there. How is how is that limiting belief holding you back? Do you recognize any limiting belief right now that is holding you back to accomplish what you uh, want to accomplish yourself? Um, because I think one of the reasons we don't go into certain areas because of self-limiting beliefs. So I know most probably is putting you on the spot, but can you
Yeah.
think of a self-limiting belief that is kind of like putting you at a place where you know that you can do something, but it's kind of like you're still holding back. Yeah.
Mhm.
So are you at a place where you can identify one of, maybe, I don't know, I've got a list. I, I don't know if you have any, uh,
Yeah.
you know, that one thing that is still holding you back, something that you already broke, already broke through that, and maybe you can identify it's because somebody believed in you in this specific area.
No, absolutely. It's always a list for anybody who takes time to meditate on their life and
Mm. Yeah.
consider where they are and where they want to go.
Mm.
Just naturally, with almost everything, we sometimes get beaten down. Most times get beaten down,
Yeah.
but it's only in remembering who we are that will become. Unfortunately, most times we cannot remind ourselves.
Yeah.
We need that person who is going to be out there, who is
Yeah.
going to say, you're really good at this. I think
Yeah.
you should do this.
Yeah.
You know. So for me, one of the areas would be in my ability to build a very big business.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Now, in the past, I've had to do that. But when you hit stumbling blocks,
Mm-hmm.
your confidence goes with it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because of that, you tend to forget that you've done it before.
Yeah.
And that all you need to do is to go back and check how you did
Yeah.
it before. In fact, remind yourself that for the fact that you've done it before means that you have the ability.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best place.
That's
But
right.
most times it's not easy to, remember it. I was on a call today, and somebody was saying, "Oh, what a relief," and so on. It's much
Yeah.
better working with you than so and so and so. I just laughed over it, but they didn't know what they did for me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you join a new project,
Yeah.
everything else that you've done in the past seems to just jump off the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when you have won awards, you've done things, you've delivered big things, but once you move from there and you go to another place, if you think about it carefully, you're now at ground zero again, trying to build up a reputation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say, I need to deliver here, but until you can deliver something there, you're still assuming that I haven't really won here. So
Yeah.
everything else I've achieved, they're all stories. In fact, you won't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But making time to remind myself of what I've done in the past and how challenging it has been and how difficult and impossible it was at some stage, and we still pulled through, now makes me understand that. Now think about if I am in a relationship where I'm getting that affirmation every
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
there was I had a call with someone from the US yesterday, they were going to help me start, help me out with a business I wanted to start.
Mm-hmm.
And we finished that call. I sat down with my wife and said, this thing looks like it's really going to work, so I might think of doing it. To cut the long story short, she said, go with your guts, go with your guts. So I
Mm-hmm.
went, and today I started looking at their Trustpilot reviews, and the reviews were rubbish, you know. So I said, oh, this was what I was going to start to save up money to join this program, to see if I can use that to build up a one stream of income. But look what people are saying about it. So once I found it, I sent it to my wife. My wife said to me, you tend to forget that all the times that we have succeeded in anything, that is actually you sitting down and researching something and actually doing it.
Mm.
You've never really succeeded by going on any course or any program or anything. The places that, the point I'm trying to make is,
Yeah.
you see, I would not approach individuals to help me if I knew that I could do it. I remember that I could do it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that I didn't know, but I had that honest conversation with my wife today, and just was about, you forget that whatever the big things we've done, it's just a case of us sitting down, or you sitting down with coming up with an idea, you bring it to the table, we
Yeah.
discuss it, and we plan execution, and we actually execute, and things work.
Yeah.
Why are you not resorting to that? And
Yeah.
you're always looking for somebody who is going to give you the magic wand to progress with something. And
Yeah.
this is the powerful part of a relationship where
Mhm.
we often forget. We
Yeah.
often
Yeah.
forget who we are. We often forget. That's possibly why God was saying to Joshua that he must meditate on the word day and night, because
Yeah.
that's what shows us who we are. And if we are lacking confidence in who we are, we
Mm.
can find confidence in whose we are.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's brilliantly said. So thank you so much. And I like what you the part that you emphasized on is the fact that we simply just forget, because the place where our confidence will come from, in many cases, is the fact that we know that we've walked a certain path, we've tried out certain things, and you know that it was a path of learning. There are certain things that you've learned, you failed in it, if you want to call it failure, but in essence it's not failure, it's just learning a better way of doing something. And the thing is, now when we kind of like recall and say, all right, uh when I did this specific thing, this is how it went. It didn't go according to plan, but at least now I can take that bit of experience that I have. I've seen results, and I've taken note of what I've done, because many times we don't take note, isn't it? We
Yeah.
kind of like just go, and it's like, all right, what did I do to get to get
Mhm.
here?
Yeah.
And that can be kind of like the issue. uh, and like even what you're saying, obviously, it when you have somebody that believed in you before you even let's say, for example, your wife, because now she's kind of like the fact that she could remind you that, remember, this is how we did this when we used to do projects, is because, not because you were hunting for the next available program, or for the next mentor, or whoever that has experience in a specific area, but you looked at a thing. All right, can I do it? No, maybe not, but let me try anyway.
Mm.
And I think that is the key. The fact that we can have that self-confidence to step out and to do things, even though in the midst of fear, even though we feel like we are going to fail here. um, but um, but we're doing it anyhow. We do it anyhow. Now I want to quickly look at, there's the acronym of belief. I find it quite interesting, and I kind of like just want us just to because we are talking about um, relationships and the importance of us. Let's talk at it from our perspective, because or even or both ways, when somebody believe in you or when you believe in somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, the B will go for believe in them before they succeed, like what we've just mentioned now, because there's something very powerful there, because it's easy to believe in somebody when they've already got a track record.
Yeah.
They already got something to show. They've already got uh, it's I've got this award, I've got this testimonial, and all of these kind of things. But now let's put yourself in that place, like where you want to do somebody, when you want to do something, but you got nothing to show for it. Maybe the wife is doubting you because you've already presented so many projects to her, and then every time when you come up with a new one, it's like, all right, what happened to that one? Remember the one that
Tell me about it.
remember the one when we invested £2,000? Remember the one that you invested £1,000?
Yeah.
So maybe that one is, and you kind of like, and I think every time when you go through that process, and you're being reminded of what has failed, uh, it's kind of like knock you on your self confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, that's why it's important for us to, from our perspective, believing in somebody else, believe in somebody before they got any result, and just tell them, listen, yeah, I know that it's a new adventure, it's a new area for you to go into, but you ever go at it, try it. You got nothing to lose, and everything to gain, because even if it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to turn out, there is so much that you will learn. And I think, when if somebody have to tell me that, man, I will like just because it's like, there's such power when somebody believe in you before,
Yeah.
before you have any results to show. The next one is emphasize their strengths, because all of us, we got stuff on the inside of us that we are really good at, and sometimes we undermine that. Sometimes we are more focused on what somebody else is brilliant at. We always focus on, oh, Chidozi is such a brilliant presenter. Chidozi just know how to take, and it's like, now, instead of asking myself, Kendrick, but what are you good at?
Yeah.
What is there that when you do something, it just turns out into,
Yeah.
uh, you've got to, it's like we've got to be even intentional. I'm kind of like just holding back, because I don't want to blow my own trumpet. I don't want to blow my own trumpet,
No,
but
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, feel free to use that word because that's what we all lack.
that's,
We are not intentional about anything,
yeah,
about relationship, about goals, about life and so on. That word has got to be said to
yeah,
everybody once every day. So
yeah, yeah.
use it. We all need to hear it every day.
That's it. That's it. That's why when it comes to our strength, we've got to be very aware of what our strengths are.
Mm.
Because I think if I already know that these are my strengths, um, let me actually do this. If I already know what my strengths are, um, then that in itself will give me some confidence. Why is that? Because I will know that I am good in this specific thing.
Yeah.
I know how to run very well in this specific area,
Yeah.
or whatever the case might be. So we have to make sure that we emphasize on the strengths. The next one is, uh, let me see, my brother is made a comment here. Let's see. um, yeah, that's right, sir. That's why we need to do affirmations in the mirror. Talk to yourself. What do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? Kendrick, you are just useless, eh? You are no, 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 no. You can't do that. Even by the time you walk out of the door, it's like, okay, I'm defeated now. I've got nothing to show. I've got nothing to.
Yeah.
But if you talk to yourself and you do those affirmations in the mirror on a regular basis, whether you do it daily or weekly, whatever the case might be, that does something to your self-esteem. That does something to your image.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for highlighting that, Mr. Ravi. The next one. Oh yeah, list their past successes. That's the one that you've just mentioned. Um, you know, if we are at a place where we keep track on, all right, it's small wins, because even a win that puts you 2 miles ahead is still a win.
The win.
But
Yes.
sometimes we kind of like just brush off people's wins. That's why if we have the thing that will strengthen relationships, because we remember now we are actually talking about how we can build relationships, uh, and these things, um, we can use these as tools. Because remember now, the one that I used before this is, you emphasize on their strengths, and you believe in them before they succeed. And this one here,
Mhm.
uh, list their past successes, because sometimes people have been successful in a specific area, but they feel like nobody has been celebrating them. Now imagine if you come and you celebrate some, say, listen, you look what you've been doing over the past 2 years. Look what you've accomplished over the past uh, 5 years, 10 years. Uh, that in itself, people was like, wow, at least somebody noticed. And I believe that's really important for us to do that, and not just undermine, because we don't know the effort, we don't know the uh, what went into somebody where they are right now. There's so much of you, you, the thing is, there are certain things that we think, it's just easy, but for somebody else to do it, it's like,
Massive.
hey, it's like, just for me to still stand here and to be able to say what I'm saying, or do what I'm doing, that's a big thing. But for somebody else, will just come and say, oh,
No.
you know that's why we have to be able to acknowledge people's successes. Yeah. The other one is, instill confidence when they fail. Wow, that's a big one. Because everybody is waiting for you to fail. You think everybody's waiting for you to cheer you on to win? No, most people are waiting, depending on the way of thinking. But most people are waiting for you to. All right, let's see when it's gonna go down. All right, he's still standing. Let's give him one more month. No, when people fail, we have to instill confidence in them and be able to say, listen here, failure is not the end. It's not the end of the road. It's not when everything don't come to a standstill because we failed. In fact, let's not even call it failure. Let's not even call it that you've let's just call it, you got to get into a course correction. Find a different way of doing what you're trying to do. Maybe you just lacked in planning properly. Maybe you just need to use a different strategy, but you haven't failed. And I think the only time that we fail is when we quit. That's the only time that we fail. I don't know if you wanted to mention anything on those previous ones that I've mentioned. I know I'm just rushing through them, but I know it's
No,
that.
no, no. That's fine. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, shall
I
I
can.
just go? All right. The next one is experience some wins together. Um, that's something that really strengthens relationships, because just think about it, in whichever team that you've ever played in, when uh, the bond that is formed when you have a win together is priceless. It's priceless. That thing become, even you'll be talking about that for months to come.
Yes.
And it will even give you the uh, the encouragement, all right, let's go for another one. Let's do something. Let's go for another win together. And that's a good place to strengthen relationships. Okay. uh, Visualize their future success, because one of the issues is, sometimes people can't see themselves succeed. Some people can't see themselves becoming greater than where, or being better than where they are right now. But if you and I are at a place where we can actually paint a picture by highlighting their strength, by highlighting their previous wins, we are even at a place where we can say, listen here, your future is bright. Your future is far brighter than you can ever imagine, because look what you've already accomplished. Look at what a great character you have. Look at what a great gift. Look at the friends. Look at the people around you. um, and I think all of us needs to be reminded of that on a regular basis. But if we do that, um, to other people around us, that will definitely strengthen that's a great building block for a relationship.
Oh,
um, because every one of us, each and every one of us, go through times where we feel like our future is bleak. It feels like, man, why am I even continuing? Why am I even putting the effort in? Why am I even getting up in the why am I even getting up in the morning? um, but if we can continue to remind people that, to say like, listen, yeah, if you can continue to see your success, then we will be able to help them to continue going and becoming better. The other one is, which is the last one, expect a new level of living. When you breathe hope into somebody's life, their posture will change. The way they carry themselves will change, because now they have a better image. They have a better uh, a vision of who they can be. um, and we should expect to see that new level of living, even if it's in small increments. But um, expect that, because we've sown seed towards that. um, and I think sometimes what we do is, like, we will tell somebody, oh, I believe that you can do this, and but suddenly that person just step out and just do something crazy, like that even blows your mind. Like, wow, like, okay, no, slow down a little bit, not so.
mm,
No, you want to continue to celebrate them because you've encouraged them to go out and just do some big things and
yeah.
believe in themselves. Now, why you want? No, expect for them to go into a level where the way of living is going to change. Because whatever that we start to put into those around us, if we start putting some words of life on the inside, inside on the inside of people, uh, as we continue to build relationships, that's going to eventually show up. Because remember, now change first have to happen on the inside. I first gotta see something in my imagination before everyone can see it out there. So we have to expect a new level of living for those that we build relationships with. So I don't know if you want to add something on that before we move on, sir.
Absolutely. Again, you've done an amazing job, but we must all remind ourselves that we can't see ourselves, and whatever happens in our lives is prophetic, and
Yeah.
that prophecy is almost never in our own mouths.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
to be in other people's mouths.
Yeah.
Most we want to hear "Thus says the Lord" before we know that's a prophecy coming through
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
We have to pay attention to what people think about our future, especially people we
Yeah.
respect, people that love us,
Yeah.
uh, because most things that they see for us in our futures, we can't see it
Yeah.
ourselves. We
Yeah.
can't see it
Mm-hmm.
ourselves.
That's right.
And that's why, we must always keep our ears open. If someone told me so many years ago that I'll be able to go on the stage and have hundreds of people and I'll still be able to talk on that stage,
Yeah.
I will look at them and say, listen, unless you're going to tranquilize me and carry me out and
Okay.
make me a zombie and so on. But as time went on, you come across people that say you can really do this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have potential to do this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you end up doing it. And it doesn't just it's not a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Uh, as much as we are encouraging ourselves to listen to people who see our future, we must always have our eyes around
Yeah.
people who we have relationships with and prophesy into their lives as well.
Yeah.
Because it does work. What we say,
That's
the
it.
power of life and death are in the tongue, and he who knows how to use it will succeed or
Yeah.
will get the benefit. I'm just paraphrasing what the Bible says there.
Mm.
So
Mm.
when it comes to that, as much as being ready to receive and know that people don't tell us things because of telling, even if they do that because of telling, there is a walk that is beyond them. There's a
Mm.
prophetic action that is in place there.
Mm.
And the same way, when we look around, because sometimes we're very conservative with how we encourage others, how we
Yeah.
praise others when
Yeah.
they've
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they've done something great. You
Yeah.
know, just making sure we wipe that out of our books and just give people praise that they deserve. And
Yeah.
if possible, go further than that. Because when we recognize what people are doing now, they gain strength to push
Yeah.
forward and do more.
Yeah.
And that is that future
Yeah.
that we're talking about.
That's it.
So the prophetic is about receiving it, but understanding that we are prophets as well.
Mm.
Use
Mm.
that power in
Mm.
the
Mm.
people that you find yourself in relationships with.
That's it. That's it. Because there's such power in words. That's why one of the best things that we can do for ourselves is always surround ourselves with words that are life giving,
Mm.
words that encourage, words that lifts us up. Um, uh, and I believe one of the things that gets us to a place where we really get to the next level in our relationships is when we understand and we know how to connect with people.
Yeah.
um, if you just think about it, uh, we've got to first touch people's hearts before we even can ask for a hand. Because remember now, living a life of success will require many talents, it will require many gifts, it will require much help. But if I am at a place where I don't know how to build effective relationships, I will never really see any form of real success, because anything that is real success is built by many people, many gifts, many talents. Now, the question is now, how can I connect with people? How can I become better to connect with people? Because if I fail to know how to connect with people, then I will always fall short in what I try to accomplish, or what you try to accomplish. Now, uh, and the first thing is we have to touch people's hearts before we can ask for a hand. And we gotta be at a place where we develop credibility with people when you connect with them, uh, and and let them know that, listen here, I genuinely want to help you. uh, because one of the I don't know if you ever come across it, where somebody only help you because they know what is in it for them.
Mhm.
But imagine being at a place where you can say, I want to help you without expecting anything back. That's the most very powerful place to be, because now you're doing it without any selfish motives, and people can sense that
Yeah.
when you genuinely just want to help. You just want to help. And I think because we're living in a society that are prone to be known as selfish. When as soon as you say, "Listen, I just want to help you. Let me know. Can I help you with anything?" Like, all right. What does he want from me? It's like you start looking at, what does this guy want from me? What does
Yeah.
he want? What does she want from me? What do they want from me? Why they want to help me? It's almost like a foreign thing, because people always it's a common thing that people get into things, or they offer their help out of selfish ambitions.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for us to build credibility with people and know how to build credibility and just to connect with them, so that we can be at a place where we can say, "Oh, this guy just genuinely want to help me." And one of the ways to do that is connect with people on a one-on-one, one at a time, because there's something special about when you reach out to people on a one-on-one, then they don't just feel like they're part of a collective group.
Mm.
It's like, all right, this guy actually really wants to have a conversation with me. And make sure that you're not only, reaching out to the ladies. Make sure that reach out to the guys.
Yeah.
Because it's important. You didn't catch that, did you? Did you get what I said?
No, absolutely, I got it. Yeah, no,
Which
I got
one?
it.
Which one?
Everybody needs to be reached out to. It's most times you're prone to try and help ladies because you think they're, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
think,
I thought I'll just throw that in there. Make sure that your wife know when you want to help a lady, and not
yeah, no, absolutely, very, very important.
so
Yeah, start the story
that
so you don't have to explain. Uh,
otherwise
a
you got
very, very, very awkward situation.
that's it. Otherwise you'll have some new battles to fight.
Yeah, very, very, very suicidal one in most cases.
Yeah. You walk through the door, you're a dead man. Where you from? Where did you come? I
Yeah,
was just helping the other sister. She was asking for help. Why
yeah,
couldn't she ask somebody else to help?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, uh, and another thing is, let's put a 10 on every person's head. Because when we see people better than where they are, or like what we said earlier, maybe they haven't accomplished or got any
mm,
track record or anything to show for. But if we
mm,
already put a 10 on the head and believe in them, then that will be such a great boost for an individual.
yeah.
Uh, uh,
That's that brings to mind a quote
yeah.
I read a few times by Goethe, who
Uh-huh.
said, "Look at a man as the way he is, then he can become worse. But look at a man as the way he could become, and
Yeah.
then he will become."
Yeah. That's
And
it.
that
That's
is so
it.
true on all levels.
That's it. All right. Let me see if we can just touch on this one. We got about 5 minutes before we
Okay,
gotta wrap it up.
fine.
Anything that you wanted to touch on before we move on to the next point?
No, I mean, I think we've done a good job.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
on this.
Now the next one is, how can I become a better listener? Because um, I know for it might sound, oh, how does that help me to get better in relationship? You will be surprised, because many of us, we like to talk. We
Mhm.
like to let everybody know what we think. We like to give our opinion. We like to. There's nothing wrong about it, but we have to be able to find the balance and become better listeners. Just think about it, because if I'm talking all the time, when am I going to learn? When I'm going to be able to get inspiration, because I'm always the one running my mouth.
Yeah,
Uh, uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
that's why becoming a better listener is key. What's your thought on that?
No, absolutely. This is a very, very crucial one. Not even in the way that it looks normally. Just literally by just talking about listening.
Yeah.
We have to really pay attention to that, because it's only when you listen that you understand what people are looking for.
Yeah.
That's why when coaches are being trained, they're trained to listen,
Mm.
and that's because you're listening, you're able to ask important questions
That's it.
that
Hmm.
probably guide the person to the
Yeah.
solution of their problem. If
Hmm.
it becomes a competition of ideas where you're waiting for him to finish or for her to finish, and
Yeah.
then you say what you want to say, then there is no connection there.
Yeah.
There is no, that's not listening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
listening is not just about just listening and keeping quiet and listening.
Yeah.
Listening is also about speaking
Yeah.
only when you have understood
Yeah. Yeah.
enough to speak.
That's right.
That shows that you've listened. Imagine you ask a question now, for example, and you ask, "Oh, how long is the distance from here to London?" And someone says, "But why do you want to find out about what the distance is here from England when we're just in Northampton and I'm talking about fear to go to town and so
Yeah.
on and so."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
haven't really listened.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
question is the distance from here to London, which
Yeah.
is 90 miles, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
90 miles. That's the end of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
If they have a reason for asking that, then you wait for them to now reply and say, "Okay, I was asking because
Yeah.
what."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's being a listener there. But if
That's
you're
right.
waiting to speak, then you're going to respond and ask another question, possibly,
Yeah.
or talk about something else.
Yeah.
In that circumstance, you're not connecting, you're not being useful in that relationship,
Yeah. Yeah.
that communication. You're not being useful, you're just being there, just two people making noise at each
Yeah.
other. So
Yeah.
as much as we need to make sure that we're listening, we also need to remind ourselves that we listen, because if we listen we can
Mm.
understand, and
Yeah.
if we understand we stand a chance of either intervening or helping our friends or people we're in relationships, even if it's your wife. We put ourselves in the best position in
Mhm.
helping them to resolve an issue.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Like what you just like what you said earlier. You just listening, so just so that you can so that you can respond, or
Yeah,
because now you want to come up with with the answer or come up with.
or a better idea.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, that's it. And the thing is, I don't know if you ever been in a conversation where you're talking to somebody,
Mm.
but you can see they're not here. They're like all
Yeah, yeah,
they're like looking all like, who's the next person I'm gonna go and talk
yeah,
to? They're
yeah,
like all they are not there. They are
yeah.
kind of like just they're just go like mm-hmm.
Mm, mm.
So if you have to
Yeah,
ask them what did I just say, they and what that does, it shows already a form of disrespect, because
yes,
when you listen, it shows that you are respecting somebody.
yeah,
And the thing is, especially when it comes to men, as soon as you show them disrespect, that guy closes up straight away. Like, this
yeah,
guy don't care about me. This
yeah,
one, he just thinks I'm a nobody. And so what? So one of the so have you ever? So what we should actually be doing when you have a conversation with somebody, you should make them feel like they are the most important person in the room. They are the most important. It's like you are there, you are present. And
yeah,
many a times we're not present. It's like we are maybe thinking about, all right, what chicken I had last night, or what chicken am I gonna go and eat, and or or where I'm gonna go, or what I need to go and do, instead of being there. Because
yeah,
listening builds relationships. When
yes,
I listen, it actually strengthens a relationship, because what you are sending across is to say, I'm interested in what you have to say, and what you have to say is important. um, because even if I give a signal to say that what you're saying is not important, I'm in a hurry, I gotta go.
yeah,
How am I giving a signal that I'm actually want to help you? No, how you can't tell me you help me, you can't even listen to me. How does that work? So listening is key. And I think that's one of the areas that we kind of like really fail in sometimes, is because becoming a good listener is a skill.
Yeah.
It's not something, here we go again. You have to be intentional about it. You have to
Yeah.
tell yourself, I'm going to listen to this person, whoever I'm going to,
Yeah.
say, for example, you go to a working event. Be sure that you are there when you speak to somebody. Don't be like looking for, all right, who, no, okay, I can already see that you can't really help me. Let me go and look for somebody else that can help.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
that should not be the mindset.
Yeah.
Uh,
It encourages people to speak to you.
yeah,
If people know you don't listen, because I have people I know who I know they don't listen to me. When I have ideas, I don't share with them. So who is losing?
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
very, 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 very beneficial skill for us to have,
yeah,
not just for the people that we are in relationships with, but for us as well. Because if we show that we listen, then
yeah.
people will be willing to speak to us. And
Uh-huh.
when they speak to us, it might be ideas, new business opportunities,
Yeah,
new relationship building skills,
yeah,
new skills,
yeah.
dangers in the way, and so on and so forth. But if we don't listen, when you just say, you know what, I, I won't even bother myself, just let's crack on, and then it goes wrong, and you just, you know,
Yeah,
I wish he was that kind of person. I saw this coming, but he doesn't listen to anyone. So, well, such is life. You
yeah.
crack on.
That's it. So you'll end up losing out on opportunities,
Yes,
because the
yes,
person would have come and spoke to you. Listen, what do you think about this? I've got
yeah,
this, and you might have had the answer, but
yeah,
because you are a bad listener, you don't know how to listen properly. Uh,
mm,
that opportunity just bypasses you.
yes,
It
yes.
bypasses you. All right, I've got. Let me just mention two more here or three more here, and then we gotta wrap it up, because we are well on top of the hour. Listening generates ideas. That's kind of like what, because somebody might just say something and suddenly, boom, an
Mm.
idea just comes, and
Fire.
yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why a conversation is when one talks and one listen, and you kind of like to and fro like that. The next one is the listening builds loyalty. And listening is a great way to help others and yourself. So, gentlemen, so that's another session where we're just talking about how we can continue to build greater or better relationships, because relationships are key in to our success. And like I've mentioned, it's a craft. We need to get better. It's a game. We gotta with rules.
Mhm.
So maybe we just need to learn how to learn to play the game better.
Yeah.
Because if you think, or if I think I'm going to reach a certain level of success without becoming skillful in relationships, I'm delusional. I am. And realize that relationships requires work, and you and I have to put the effort in. um because some people are a little bit more difficult to connect with. Some people it's much harder to break through a wall, even that you can help one another, but it's kind of like somebody's got to make a greater effort to actually get things going, and like, all right, maybe speak on a more on a regular basis,
Mhm.
or it just because sometimes you just start with light chit chat, like, oh, how, what's up, what you been up to, but at
Yes.
least it
Yes.
gets things going. Um, eh, because the solution to our problems sometimes already lies in the mouth of somebody else, but because we are not skillful in knowing how to improve in our relationships, we suffer in silence. That's something that's not needed. All
Yeah.
right, sir, I don't know if you anything you wanted to add there, as we
No, great session. Lots of things to learn. I just pray we're able to listen back to this and begin to use this to break through. All the
yeah,
things that we've talked about tonight are very powerful tools.
yes, sir.
Relationship key is at the heart of success. However you look at it, even if you think you're a billionaire, you can build skyscrapers. you still need to build relationships with the companies and the people and whoever is going to help you. So there is no running away from it. It's one that we really, really, really have to keep very close to our hearts and make it happen for ourselves.
That's it. Absolutely. Awesome stuff. So, sir, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you, and
Yeah.
love to the family there, because they
Yeah.
are the ones that are sacrificing. We're taking you away for a whole hour.
Absolutely. It's
All,
a
yeah,
pleasure always
yeah.
to you too for making out time to do this. It's
Awesome.
a pleasure.
Also, a big shout out there to Mr. Ravi. Sir, thank you so much for
Yeah.
staying with us and participating. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to get you on here soon once things change on
Soon.
your side.
Yeah. And to the guys who will listen later on
Yeah,
as well. Thank you.
yeah, and also the guys that are listening, on the replay on this one here.
Mhm.
I hope that you found it helpful, and yeah, let's continue to build. Let's continue to get better, and we will see you guys soon. All right, have an amazing week, and see you
It's
guys soon.
great.
All right, cheers.
Bless you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.